Smash the likes. Let's have a look. Bring this back up. Yeah, live in just a moment there. What's going on, champs? Hope you guys doing well. So we're live today, episode 18 on Dainks Daily Trades. Basically, we're looking at for a possible BTC and ETH breakout. Stick around. There's a lot to go through. We're gonna go through the trade plans of more of a wider scales on the monthly itself and what we can look for. And we're gonna look for daily breakouts and whatnot, and also some day trades going on for ETH and BTC. So we've got a lot going on. So it's gonna be an interesting show. In terms of the Monday, we can't really play Monday's range until tomorrow is actually formed, and then we can start there building out a range and see what we got. We can have more plans to play out with as well. So Monday's going to be a little bit more quieter, not so easy to play with, but we can do so anyway. So shout out to all you guys. Thank you so much for actually attending the show. Hit the likes, subscribe the button, and you know how it goes, man. Quick shout out to, we got Zdenek, we've got Killer, what's going on, brother? We got Powers of 4, Rolf, Brewjess is here. Amar's back in the show as well. Morning, man. Hope you guys doing well. It is a Monday morning. Hopefully it's okay actually. Here in the UK, it's kind of shit, you know, like it's raining and shit in the morning. So fuck that. Anyway, so what's going on? So we got what's everyone saying? By the way, it's pronounced as Zennek. My mistake, Zennek got you. I'll try to remember that as well. Walaikum salam. What's it? We got Bam Bam here. What's going on, brother? Got a DJ in the show as well. Valentine's here as well. Daniel, I think you're new here, man. I haven't seen you on the chat, so welcome everyone. So let's get cracking. Before we actually get cracking on there, oh yeah, we got Crypto Big Brains here. Good to see you guys again. Before we get cracking, I actually want to show you something quickly. Actually, this is like the anonymous message to Kwon. I don't know if you guys have seen it, so I just want you to watch this. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna mute myself down, and I'm gonna bring this back up. Okay, 1 minute.
Greetings, citizens of the world. This is a message from Anonymous, for Kwon. The past several months have been bad for crypto and the economy as a whole. We were likely going to experience some pain in the crypto industry because of the macro environment regardless of what was happening internally. We were also due for another bear market this year, but the actions of Kwon, the founder of the Terra Luna ecosystem, is single-handedly responsible for scamming billions of dollars away from retail investors. Kwon made a name for himself with his arrogant tactics, trolling competitors, critics, and acting like he would never fail. In fact, he said that he found it entertaining to watch other projects fail.
I wonder how many of these companies you think are entering the space just because it's hot and there's a lot of funding versus the ones that will still be here, you know, like 2 to 5 years later.
95% are gonna die.
Yeah.
95% are going to die. Yeah. Yeah, there's also entertainment in watching companies die too.
There's entertainment. Oh man, that's so evil. At least you get to learn from it, right?
On one occasion, he called a journalist poor for asking him difficult questions. However, he was quickly knocked down by the markets. The louder they are, the harder they tend to fall. News has now come to light that he was cashing out over $80 million each month as Luna was successful. Kwon denied these accusations in a roundabout way, but not exactly. In a recent Twitter post, Kwon denied cashing out $2.7 billion, but that doesn't account for the $80 million each month that he was apparently taking. He claims that he lost most of his money along with everyone else in the market, and that he was also all in on Luna. The information that he was taking millions from the protocol each month comes from testimony of Terra Labs employees during interviews with the SEC. As a result, Kwon is being investigated for money laundering, in addition to the other accusations against him of malice and fraud. Sometimes people just make mistakes, and sometimes businesses fail, but there is significant evidence that Kwon had bad intentions from the start.
It's a cycle of life. You begin from nothing and go back to nothing. And that's exactly where I want to be. So I think Terra is going to be the decentralized money standard across the entire blockchain, across all the blockchains. And I'm excited for Terraform Labs to contribute a significant portion of that early vision, but eventually to go back to nothing.
Before launching Terra Luna, Kwon worked for another failed stablecoin called Basis Cash. That project failed due to regulatory concerns and investors lost money, but he was never held accountable because he was working under the anonymous name Rick Sanchez, taken from the popular cartoon Rick and Morty. It is obvious to us that Kwon has plenty of secrets and he has been very sloppy in his execution. Multiple governments are conducting their own investigations into the scammer, but so are we. Anonymous is looking into Kwon's entire history since he entered the crypto space, to see what we can learn and bring to light. There is no doubt that there are many more crimes to be discovered in your trail of destruction. Kwon, if you are listening. Sadly, there is nothing that can be done to reverse the damage that you have done. At this point, the only thing that we can do is hold you accountable and make sure that you are brought to justice as soon as possible. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. Expect us.
Right, guys, that's quite interesting though, with Kwon and whatnot. Let me close this off there. So, put it this way, Kwon's gonna get fucked if this is true.
At the end of all of your messages,
What the hell,
you've had
man?
a bunch of your...
Shut up. Yeah. Yeah, Kwon's gonna get a big Bob sandwich, man. Like, so, I think he's a pain in the ass. He talked a lot of shit. He really said a lot of horrible shit. As you can see, he called people poor. He'd make mockery out of people as well. It's all on Twitter, that was. He openly wanted to bet that Luna was going to go a lot more higher than it actually was, about $100 or something, or $90 it was at the time. And yeah, so I don't really do news or nothing like that. That's not my kind of forte. I just thought I'd pass on a message and whatnot. But the interesting thing about Anonymous as well, the last thing that I remember seeing them, they did they called out Elon Musk, but nothing happened. So take it with a pinch of salt. Let me know what you guys think. You know, what you guys think of Kwon and the whole scenario with the whole Luna thing. Did you guys actually had money in Luna? Did you lose money in there? I mean, I didn't have any myself. I was trading it in the early days. I didn't ride it all the way to the top kind of thing, but yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks. And then I'm seeing Luna C. Let me just open up a thingy, trading coin market cap. Luna C. I swear to God that was pumping today as well. So Luna C. Lunk, yeah, whatever you put it. LUNC. This has been pumping up 27%. You can see over here from the chart itself. I mean, this is dead though. This is full on dead. Right? I mean, that's the top over here. $116. It's dead. I don't see it. I don't see anything. I wouldn't recommend anyone to put money into there. Trust me. This is more for you guys. Let me just go there. A big massive word of advice, right? So in 2017, I saw a lot of projects go up. I rode some and whatnot. Then when the price went down in 2018 because it was bear market, what happened was there was a lot of projects that looked like the Terra Classic. The massive drop off and it was just dead. And you get a small pump of 20%. They're pumps, they are scams, right? Don't put your money in that. They're not gonna do 100x. They're not gonna go back to all-time high or even 50% of all-time high. They're not gonna do it. Don't put your money into it. Trust me, I did it myself and I lost money out of it so many times. There's so much projects I can actually go into. I can spend like an hour just talking about all the projects I went in because they were dead. They looked dead, and then like they were. The community was trying to push it up. And, that's the thing. That's the beauty about crypto community. They're very loyal to the project itself. They're gonna stay on the Telegram chat. They're gonna talk about it. It's gonna go back up. We're gonna go back up to the moon, to the moon, to the moon. They're gonna say all that stuff. However, when a project looks like this, it's over. Don't do it. Please save your money. There are other projects up there. Even if it does pump to, I don't know, like $50, who gives a flying fuck? Don't risk it. Yeah, they're gonna say there's a quote saying like the higher the risk, the more money you make out of it. Alright, like the greater the risk, the more money you make. Whatever the quote is, don't fucking listen to that shit. It's a scam. It's a scam. Alright, just stay safe. Don't bother doing it. Alright. So let's see what's going on. I mean, we got a few more people in the chat as well. Oh, Daniel's been here. My mistake. Sorry about this, brother. I just saw your name, like Cantor, just ring a bell as if it was a new person. But good to have you on the show. Khalil's here again. We've got Derry, Mozart, oh god, the hacker known as Fortune is after Kwon. Gary Cotton Style from Bam Bam Bitcoin. Jameson, morning to you, brother. Georgius, nice to see you as well. Hello. And Cryptique is here again. So let's just get cracking, man. We've got 32 people in the stream. Smash the likes, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Check it out. See what you say. I mean, you can see at the bottom right at the bottom, it says welcome to Dainks Daily Trades, streaming every Monday to Friday, 10:15 a.m. BST. Today's a bit early because I do have things to do straight after the stream itself. So there are times that I might be a little bit early, like 15 minutes, half an hour or so. But if you hit the bell icon on the notifications, it will tell you when I'm going to go live. All right. So let's get cracking. Let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin. We did a lot of talking on Bitcoin yesterday in terms of macro scale. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out yesterday. It's on Dainks Corner. Episode 5, and that talked about more of the macro scale in terms of, you know, using previous all-time high, the range itself and the breakout and a retest, and then also talking about this is another range over here, and you know, ideally we're looking for a deviation, or like a deviation coming back up here and, you know, hold above it and then carry on going up higher, and this we'll call a deviation, or potentially go back up and bounce, break down, and we can go a lot more lower. So these are the plans there on a macro scale, but it's all there. Check it out yesterday. I am gonna, as soon as this is all uploaded, I'll put the card, it will be in the corner of it there, right in the corner over there, so you'll see. Anyway, let's get cracking then. So we've got Francisco in the chat, man, nice to meet you. Sam's here as well, got Fleety as well. Blend it, sir. Or you mean bleed it, sir? I don't know. But yeah, let's get cracking in terms of what can we do looking at the day trade as well. I was looking at a few things there. So monthly is going to close in about, let's have a look. There's 30 days in June, so we're going to close in 4 days. So you're going to get a pullback, right? So if you guys remember, let's have a look. ETH BTC. And I showed you, here we go. That's it. And I showed you a chart like this, okay? So we get, like, this is weekly open. Let me do this as monthly open. Right. Monthly open, and this is monthly close. Thanks. I've chatted about this, and I want to chat about this briefly, so you guys can always put this in your head, because the monthly close is really important. Really important. It gets tricky. It gets hard to play. It gets nasty. So we tend to get to a pullback in the monthly close, right? For example, as you can see over here, I've drawn out, this is so the monthly open was started up here, for example, and we bounce off the monthly open. The moment we find rejection, we get back below the monthly open, and we break down from this initial low over here, and that will be the trigger to go down a lot more lower, playing on the previous candles X, Y, and Z, okay? Then what happens is, once price comes down over here, we get a pullback, and the pullback tends to happen towards the end of the month. Be it a week before the month, 2 weeks before the month, or it can happen 3 weeks before the month. It just does whatever it wants to do. So you find that levels of support, right? Levels of support, and see where you can actually reclaim and hold, and then the monthly close, and then you got the monthly candle will look like this, where there's a down candle or up candle, vice versa. Okay, makes sense? If you guys doesn't make sense, let me know, and I can go back to it and break it down a little bit more in details, right? So relaying that information into Bitcoin, let's have a look at the monthly, right? And as you can see, monthly, right now, right, we've got the wick of the month. See how you got all the wicks of the month, whether it's up or down, it doesn't really matter, but we're having the wick of the month on the downside. At the same time, monthly, you can see that we've come into previous all-time high, and we found support, right? Because we wicked into it, and we're closing above it, which is a good sign. It is a good sign, which means there's a potential chance of going up. But we'll have to play it level to level, right? Looking at the weekly just started, so we can do a few things now, right? The first thing we can do is this, right? First thing we can do is mark out the weekly open, right? So we've got a new week. That's the first thing we can work with. Really important to always put that on. The reason being, it gives us a barometer of how the weekly play, okay? So let's just, that's the previous last week's open, so we can remove that. We don't need that no more. And let me just write this down as weekly open. We do this for all charts. Reason why, we do the same premise, the same idea that I just showed you. Touchy, if we were to be bullish, we need to hold the weekly open and carry on going higher. If we were to be bearish, we lose the weekly open, we find resistance, and go a lot more lower. Okay, that's the premise. It's simple as that. Yo, we got NJ in the building. We've got loads of bullish news as well today. Sweet. Check out his stream afterwards as well. It's In It For The Tech, if you guys are not aware. Let me just plug him in right now, actually. No, I'll plug him in. YouTube. If I type it In It For The Tech, it should come up there. And yeah, that's his stream right here, 1.95k. Also, just to let you guys know, if you guys haven't subscribed to him, at 2,000 I hear he's doing a giveaway, you know. So he's always got some alpha shit going on there. He's a big, obviously he's a big United fan, and yeah man, he's always posting the news every single day. He's there Monday to Friday. Lovely, lovely guy. He's a pain in the ass for me, but you guys will love him. Sometimes I want to strangle the shit out of him, but I can't at the same time because I've got to prison, got family to look after, and I have to end up looking after his family if he dies as well. I don't want to look after his family because that's his family. But yeah, that's all love to him as well at the end of the day. But yeah, check it out. He's a rapper, so crypto rapper. Hopefully he does something. I don't know. I'm saying this in my stream right now. I do hope he actually does something. But we'll see. We'll see how he goes. So yeah, love you too, my brother. Good to have you here as well, man. So yeah, so we got the weekly open, and we can already see a few things, right? Number one, we got this range over here. We're range bound in this range now. Why is that? Because that was the high, that was the low, and price was capped at the range low itself, and you can see resistance. I'm going to remove all this. All this was resistance. We've come back in, smashed above it into it, and now we're holding a support. Okay, where's this blue box come from? I will show you in just a moment. We'll go down level to level. So yeah, at the same time, we have a few things to need to worry about, right? The first thing is, right, you see this high, this was Saturday's high, alright, and that's capping the market on the upside. As you can see, we've got here resistance, small little deviation, resistance, resistance, deviation, come back as deviation, and we're bouncing up and down. That's what we're really doing there. We can narrow this down in just a moment there, and oh shit, okay, the plan's already working out. I need to have a look in a moment. So yeah, we're bouncing up and down, and if we, as long as we hold this, you can see your stop losses here. I mean hard stop, I'd say, probably here, playing it to this level, going to this level, and this level here, just level to level. I'm going to refine that in just a moment, but I also want to talk quickly about this monthly play quickly. So the monthly play I want to show you is this, right? I can use the range bound environment. Oh, by the way, a lot of people ask me what is my settings for ranges, right? I get that on Twitter, I get that a lot on YouTube, get a load of DMs about that. It's literally the Fibonacci retracement, alright? Pay attention. If I normally Fibonacci retracement won't look like this, I double click on it, go to coordinate, oh yeah, styles, and these numbers, these are my numbers. 0, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, and 1. That's all I do. There's nothing else too complicated that, alright? And then I just play it level to level each time. All the way up and playing back down, up and down. Alright? That's it. So if you guys don't know what my settings are, here you go, right? Anyway, so we do the high of the month, right, which is up here, right? That's the high of the month, and we use the low of the month, okay? The low of the month is approximately around here, and then we've got a range bound environment here, in a way, in its own way. In what way? Let me explain to you. This first quadrant here, this is a quadrant, right? This is a quadrant, that's another quadrant, that's another quadrant, and that's another quadrant. For those who aren't good at maths, right, a quadrant basically means a quarter, okay? It's a quarter, and obviously my ranges is built in, so you can play from this half, and then you also play from this half there, right? These are the ways you can play it, or you can play it level to level, which is just quadrant stars. Now, if you look here, this is range bound from this low. You can see this 75% of the range. It's gonna be, you find support, shank down, and we lose to 50% quickly, and we go back to this range low over here, and you can see price range bounded in this the last quadrant of the range, and now we're stepping back in to the 25%. As long as 21.7, the 21.2k actually holds, that's good to go up higher, where? To mid-range, to the minimum, alright? Because you can say your invalidation here will be here, just right here, on the low of the month. Which comes back to what I was saying yesterday, is that if, like yesterday, if you guys haven't checked it out, check it out yesterday, I was saying that if we get back under, this level here is the previous all-time high, if we get back into here, start breaking down and lose this low over here, we're going to go back to potentially 12.5k, right? 12.4k going to around 10, let's say 11k. These are the two levels here, but we have to hold this, right? Which shows me like I'm bullish as long as we hold this level, okay? Now, if you look here, right, also I want to talk about this mid-range. We haven't done anything to retest it. We just shanked it and lost it completely. Just one complete loss, bounce off the 25% of the range, get back below, range low, and then now we're playing around the 25% of the range, okay? So which means, again, if I hold it level to this level here, because that's a range bound environment, to this level, get above, go to this level. At the moment, right, if I'm bullish, right, if we get above the mid-range and we hold it, we can see the minimum target will be here from this low. Go back to 26.8k or 26.7k, and then we can start looking at targeting around 28.1k to the 75% of the range of this month's range, okay? Does that make a bit of sense there? So it's all ideas, all right? That's all it is. It's just ideas, and we're just gonna monitor it slowly. Now let's look at day trades. Now the day trades can get a little bit more interesting. Now, if we go on the 1 hour, I don't need this big ass range bound. I'm just showing this for your own good. This line here, God knows what the fuck that is. You can see, right? We were playing last week in Monday's range, right? Now we stepped out of Monday's range. Monday's high was literally here. This level here, 20, yeah, it was literally this level, this wick over here, okay? You see that wick over there? Let me highlight this for you guys so you can see. That was Monday's high. We can clearly see we're above Monday's high, all right? But we're just choppy. It's indecisive. It's range bounding up from literally this low here to this high here. So can we get a range that we have here, all right? Let's just have a look. Just like we got this, we can actually split this into another quadrant, okay? And I'm gonna do this right here for you. That's another quadrant that we can play there. Does this make any story, right? Always have to ask yourself, does any ranges tell you a story? If it does, happy days. If it doesn't, well then we're going to look at a different range. Like this blue, so you guys can see what's going on. Now let's just focus on this area here. Does the mid-range, how does it tell us anything? Yeah, resistance, come back up, deviation, choppy over here, resistance, deviation, come back there, and we'll reclaim it there, okay? So we can say, yeah, this is a range. We can say, as long as we reclaim this level, hard stop at the range low. I mean, I would go over here, hard stop would probably be about there itself kind of thing, playing it to this range over here to 25%, going to range high, okay? You're right, to be honest, at range low. That's what you want, all right? Because we're playing a range bound environment of this. That's number one. Number two, can we refine this and get this a bit more tighter, okay? Because obviously your risk to ratio isn't going to be that great, right? Now, can you see this, right? Was it 15 minutes? I had it on. So look. Yeah, that's it. So we're on the 15 minutes, right? Now, yesterday again, I talked about bearish market structure and bullish market structure. If you don't know what that is, go back to yesterday's episode, Dainks Corner, episode 5. Link will be again on the corner, but there, and you will see there should be a chapter about market structure. There will be one about market structure. Just go through there so you can understand what I mean by market structure. It's also entry techniques in the same place as well. So let's look over here. This is the last high of the candle. It's a mid-range. Why is it a mid-range? Because we can say from this low to this high, it's approximately a range, and it does make a lot of sense. You see, this is the last higher on the mid-range, which sent the market down, and you can see right there. I was actually going through this whole chart myself in all fairness, because I had to prepare for you guys. Yeah, so this is the last high. If I highlight it, and you can see that's caused us problems. Resistance, resistance, and going that lower. All right, we're going that lower. We didn't take out liquidity from here. Don't believe me? Let me draw a line, and I'll show you. Didn't take out liquidity. At the same time, you see here, right? This is all liquidity right there. You see that? We didn't take out, there's equal lows here. Ideally, what I would like in Asia is just come off, take out the liquidity, reclaim, and then come back here, and then we can go up higher. If we have done that, it would have given us a nice invalidation, but we've got this here. So there's a few things I'm going to run over, and I'm going to show you one by one. Stick with me. If you guys don't understand, pause it, go back to it, and whatnot. And if you have any questions, ask. Just ask. There's no such thing as stupid questions. You've got to be you're a numpty if you're not asking questions, thinking that you know it. Yeah. Dude, VR. I know. I get that a lot. When I was in college, so basically for those who's not seeing it, VR Nuggets is saying, "I'm sorry, bro. No disrespect, but you look like Patel, that guy from the movie White Castle. Howard and Kwon, that's what I was talking about." So. Back in secondary school, so like year 8, year 9 kind of thing, I was getting called Howard and Kumar. I was getting called Kumar A lot. So you better look in. Thank you for that. I used to get called that a lot as well. It used to piss me off a little bit, but you get used to it, man. You know how, like, lads, they're always going to hit the piss. Liquidity. So Pablo asked about what do you mean by liquidity there? Liquidity basically means, right, it's a liquidity game, right? As in, like, if you're going to go long, for example, people are going to place their stops over here, they're going to place stops here, they're going to place stops there, they're going to place stops here, right? So basically, which basically means there's all liquidity there. Liquidity is because they got their stops there, so if they're risking $100, $1,000, 10,000, a million, or whatever, if we take out the stops there, we're taking out all the liquidity. We take out this liquidity, take out this liquidity, just take out liquidity over there. And it's a game of liquidity. It's all, and it's like, in a way, if you think about it, like you flipping a coin. So you either go heads or tails. You're either right or wrong. You're either long or short. And if you're long, you're going to have your stops below these lows over here. Could be here, here, or even it could just be all the way down there. There's all liquidity resting over here. Vice versa, there's liquidity resting up here. So if they're short, they're putting the stops over here, stops over there, stops here, and vice versa, stops there, and it's just a liquidity hunt. So if we go up higher, we're taking out all these liquidity that we got here, right? That's what it is. That's what liquidity means. Make sense? Cool. Hopefully it does. But yeah, so I was saying that I would have liked, I was looking at this last night, right, and I wanted these lows over here to be taken out. It would have been really, really ideal. Come out and then hold above it, go back up there, reject off it, and then we need to reclaim and whatnot. Now this is where the bearish market structure actually plan comes into place, and the bullish market structure. So if you understand that, like I said, go back to yesterday's episode. It's in the chapter, so you can go through it. I'm not going to go through it now because I am running a bit of time here, and we've done 26 minutes and we haven't done a proper plan. So ideally, if we're looking for longs, right? So the bearish scenario, let's go for bearish, right? So the bearish scenario is this. So this is the last low. This is the last high that sent the market down lower. Resistance. Is this a stop run? Because what happened here? So yeah. Oops, Control Z. Resistance, resistance. We've come back up. Resistance. We've come back up. And it looks like a stop run. Alright? And if it's a stop run, we're going to start shorting. And the confirmation for us to short is once we get below it, find resistance off it again and break down. And whatever the bounce is from down. Remember yesterday? Go back to it yesterday. I did a lot of freaking alpha in there about bounces and shit like that, right? The original bounce, right? This here, we find resistance, and then that will be your trigger, stop loss above here, and we're taking out liquidity from here. So target 1 will be there, target 2 will be here, because this is the weekly open. I'm expecting some sort of reaction as a bounce, right? If it bounces and holds it and shows bullish market structure, cut the trade, right? But if it breaks down, that's one. But if it breaks down, right, then we can start taking out these liquidity I was looking for. These liquidity over here, that'll be target 2, and then we say target 3 here. And now I'll say the trade is done. Why? Because we're playing in this range here. What is that range? I showed it to you, and it's literally that high and that low. We're playing between the mid-range to range low. That's all we're focusing. That's your day trade for the bearish scenario. Make sense? Now the bullish play is, how do we play the bullish play? What do we do? What are we looking for? If we can reclaim and hold above it, right? I can say, right? So I can say the moment we hold, if we reclaim and hold above this level, right? This box here, I can say this is my target. Confirmation, if I want to wait for further confirmation, is to hold up here, and then we can go up here, target 1 and target 2. That's the trade done there. All right. Now the question is, where is my stops? So if this is now bullish, like an SR play, right? It's a supply and demand kind of shit. If this is the play there, my stop loss will be, do my ranges again. Let's do this. All right. I'd define my stop loss over here at this low here, because the reason why I say that is because of this. If we get back down below, and remember the plan I showed you, the bearish market structure, we're going to start hunting these stop losses on the smaller time frame. Target 1, target 2, target 3, and target 4. Done. That's the trade done. It's simple as that. Make sense? That's what it is. That's the day trade there for you. Breakout play, right? Because this is an episode of breakout plan. Is this, right? Let's go on the 1 hour. Oops, the daily, that's wrong. 1 hour. remove all this shit because we don't need this. You guys understand what it is, and if you don't know, go back to it again. Any questions, ask me in the chat and I can answer it for you. If you have any answers, any questions, just say you understand. Right, so the breakout plan is this, the confirmation we were looking for, right? Because obviously we come to range high, right? I'm expecting some sort of reaction over here, okay? I am expecting it. Why? It is the mid-range. It is the mid-range. I do expect price to come back into it and maybe find some, be a bit choppy here. It's going to be choppy here. This is always choppy in the mid-range. That's how ranges work. What I'm looking for, if I can get above, let's have a look on the 4 hours. We can see what's going on. Can we get a refinement? Well, let's go on the daily. For the daily makes a bit more sense there. So the daily, right, as you can see, we need to smack, like, a close above this high over here, the body candle, is a good sign, right? So I'm going to hold above it, we get there. The breakout play is if we break out of here, hold above the mid-range, and go up to the next set of targets. Same time, this area here is approximately where the 100 weekly EMA is. Okay, it's a 100 weekly EMA, and we're going to work out what happens, because what could happen is we come into the 100 weekly EMA of this, which is about around 22.3, 22.4k, and we find resistance start breaking down. And once we get below the mid-range, we play it back to weekly open and range low, and then we play from there. Does that make sense? So that's Ethereum, and let's go through, sorry, that's Bitcoin. Let's go through Ethereum. Ethereum, same plan, same situation, same story we're going to do, right? So that was, that was Monday's range, as you can see. Oops. That was Monday's range. That bit in the blue, broken out of it, could get a retest at 11.7k, 1.17k. But let's have a look. That was the weekly open. We're above the weekly open. It closed bullish in the weekly. That's all nice. Happy days. Doesn't really matter. Let's have a look. That's again the weekly open we got here. If I'm going to label this for you, coordinate and text. Weekly open. Thank you, Crypto Big Brains. Really appreciate that, man. Yeah, Georgia says, yeah, other people pay for these stuff. Thanks for the stream. It's true. This is literally your pay group that's free. That's what it is. What I'm doing is, I mean, I'm not acting anyone. Like, if you find value of someone's pay group, happy days, good for you as well. Not my business, not my money. But why not? Knowledge is free, in my opinion. So let's do it. Let's do it. Right. So anyway, weekly open there. Already, yeah, the breakout plan is this, right? You see this level here? See this high here? This high is causing us a problem. Right, let me make this as black and you can see. Right? The moment we get above and smash and hold above it, we can start saying target 1. What is target 1? That is previous all-time high. As you can see right here, this is previous all-time high back in 2018, actually that was. And that would be target 1. Reclaim that level, right? We can say that's target 2. Go and do target 3 and potential target 4. What is 3 and 4? Okay, now 3 is basically this consolidation here, which we smashed below, right? Ideally, at the very minimum, we should retest this because this is a range bound play of this. Let me just freaking delete all this, and I'll show you this. So what I had before was this, okay? Is literally this. This is a range bound play, and this is a quarterly range. Okay, this is the second quarter's range high, which basically means it's January, March, April, May, and June. Right, the high and the low there, and that's the low. Right, no, the low is here. We've got a deviation of the range and whatnot. Okay, and this deviation, right, we deviated in the range, we held above it, and we went back up high. Okay, so if it's a range bound play, I've always said to you, we got ranges, right, consolidation, and then we look for the breakout, retest, expansion, but you do have deviations of the range. This is a deviation, right? Because the price gets above it, can't take out this high again to show bullish market structure, but instead it goes back in, breaks in, finds resistance, sells off. Finds resistance off this low, sells off, right? And then it goes all the way back to the range low. Now, question is, do we do something like this? Do we do a rounded retest? Because we can, like I said, that's target 1, that'll be target 2, and this is target 3. Well, let's say that's target 3, okay? The range low. The question after that is, do we break down, showing bearish market structure going back down lower, right? Or do we do something like this? Why? Or do we do something like this? We get back above it, range bound, reclaim, and let's go to target 1, and then go to target 2. It sounds far-fetched. I know it. It sounds really far-fetched because the price right now is at $1,200 and I'm showing you that we can go over to 3K. And that's more than 2x right there. But it's not far-fetched at the same time because if this is a macro range and we can do two things from the macro range, either a retest and break down, or we can just reclaim and this is just a deviation. That's all it is. That's as simple as that. We can break down from either the previous all-time high, which is not a problem because this is an SR. Why is it an SR? You can see that's resistance, breakout, support, and then we go all the way up and we come back down to shank below it. So that's target 1 there, which is why I said it. At any moment if we break down, right, then we start shorting it back down. That's all it is. We could do a minimum of retest of previous all-time high, or we can go all the way back into this range low. And then we decide what happens next. Whatever he wants to do next, he will do whatever the fuck he wants to do. We are just here just to make the money out of it and just milk out what we can milk out, right? That's all it is. Simple as that. So that's Ethereum in terms of the macro scale. One moment, guys. Bro, NJ, there's no such thing as a coupon. For you, it's always free fund. You know that. I'm never gonna charge your ass for anything, man. The days like we freaking like when we had no job, we didn't really have much, man. We had no money, and we still buy like chicken and chips and stuff like that. Me and you, and either you buy it or I buy it as well. And we never ask for money, man. It's always free, man. You know how it is. Royanin says quite a different way of marking ranges to what I'm used to. Very interesting. Yeah, you know it's different ways. People tend to mark. You know they have their own style of ranges, and I find this range that I do is quite well because you have to remember. Quarterly ranges is always going to be greater than monthly ranges and weekly ranges, right? And you can see on the quarterly, this is what the quarterly looks like, okay? Let me just remove all this hanky-panky stuff. Oops, no, I need that. Anyway, yeah, so you can see resistance, 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 come back down. And now this, all we've done is taken out the lows over here. After quarterly, we can say we're taking off the lows here. If we reclaim, I mean the quarterly ends in 3 days. If we get above the previous all-time high, I'm just saying, if we get above the previous all-time high, what it looks like is that we've had a strong retest with a deeper pullback into the quarterly range. That's all it is. So how far are we from the previous all-time high? It's about $1,400. We're actually $200 away. It's not that difficult. I don't think it's possible. Sorry, I don't think it's impossible. And at the same time, I don't think it's like there's no reason why you won't do that, right? If we are going to be bullish, it's going to show us signs. That's the signs, and we start looking at quarterly. Come to the end of the month, right? When we come into July, 1st of July, we'll go through the whole thing and we'll go from there. How's the quarterly looks like, the yearly, blah 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 blah, right? At the same time, now look at this. This is a quarterly, right? From this quarter to this quarter is what's that? 714.29. Let me just mark this out for a moment. 714.19. 714.19. Because the thing is, remember, everyone's expecting they're going to go a lot more lower, right? And I think it's time to get a freaking bounce, Fuck these guys who say they want to go to 10K on BTC. Fuck them all. And then the ones that saying $750. Let's just bend them over and screw them over hard. That's what I want to do. In my opinion, I think that's a perfect plan. If we screw everybody over and we get on the bullish train and we ride it up to wherever he wants to go to, we fucking make the money out of it. I talked about, that was it. I talked about yesterday. Go back again to yesterday's stream. I talked about Ethereum. No. In 2018 April for the whole month, right, when BTC found support off a low, weekly low, or no, sorry, a daily low. We range bound there, then we got up to 25% of the range and we broke down. That 1 month of just a push of $3,000 gave alts 4 to 5x. So I'm thinking, can we do the same here, right? Take a critique. Good to see you as well. Look after yourself. Jay's in the house as well. Really appreciate you here as well. Brew just saying, after more than a year, I'm still unsure when it's a valid reclaim deviation. Okay, we'll go through that in just a moment. Okay, let me just break this down quickly and we'll see what's going on. So I was saying, yeah, what I was looking at is this. We've got a range bound environment here. You see this range high, range low from this quarterly candle, because we stepped into this quarterly candle now. Okay, so let's go on the weekly and see what's going on. Does it say anything? This range, I know there's a lot of lines, bear with me. Let me just remove some of these lines actually, make it nice and clean. Right? I'm going to bring them back on in just a moment. let's just remove this line. So what do we need to focus on? We just need to focus on this area here. Okay, you can see we've come back to this range, 25% range. We've held support on the weekly. Now we'll come into this mid range. It looks like we're coming there, right? Target should be coming there. I mean, at the minimum of this low here, right? What happens next? And obviously, it's where that breakout is looking for. We're looking for a breakout above on the daily, which I showed you a couple of minutes ago. Now, if we reclaim the mid range, at the same time hold the previous all-time high, it comes back into the line I was talking about, going back to that 75% of the range, this range low, this Q2 range low of this macro scale. It does come back into this whole range over here, and then from there we'll see what happens. Because at the same time, if we're reclaiming the mid range, it means target 1 is here and target 2 is here. Does that make a bit of sense? And if we do go up to here, that means we're looking to reclaim this range low. Because if we come back into this range, in this macro range, you got to ask yourself over and over again, what the fuck are you doing back in the range? Because if we're going to break out and we go a lot more lower, blah, 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 we're not supposed to do that. We're not supposed to be actually going back into the range. We're supposed to actually be breaking down. So that's another thing we need to look out for. So now let's go and start looking at some plans on Ethereum, right? And we can actually see what's going on, right? Let's have a look. Ethereum on the daily, I told you if we break out above this level, which here comes down to 12, let's say 1270. We break above 1270, hold above it, then target will be 1430. Then we start looking around, I'd say 1550, and potentially we'll move all the way to $1,700. Okay, so that's the breakout plan for that. But on the day trade, what do we have here? What do we have here? Okay, so I had this range band play here. Does it hold anything? Yeah, you can see it falls into something. And you can see that range high, this range, let me make it thicker so you guys can see. Actually coincides, the range high coincides with that high that I was talking about on the daily. So all we've done here, price has been choppy on this range, deviation, come back up, sell off, right? Sell off, take out the lows there. And then it's come back there as resistance. If this was supposed to be a retest of this range, we should have sold off and keep breaking down, taking out these liquidity here, and break down, going to 750, right? But it didn't. It didn't. Instead, it's come back into this range and it's reclaimed. Can you see this reclaim over here? Go back to range high. Now, all we've got to do is literally do a range. So that's that there's 12, 67, 87. Let's do approximate there. And let's just have a look at what's going on. Let's just have a look at what's going on. So we've got a range bound environment there, and let's bring in our quadrants in, and we can literally start seeing what we can do as a play. So we've got this 1 hour there, and so let's go on 15 minutes, make it a bit more narrow. What do we have here? Okay, so at the same time we've got this block here. Rectangle. This is the last high, it's in the market down low, right? And you can see it's caused a bit of problems. Problems how? This is it. Resistance, we haven't retested resistance. Now, let's go for the bearish play and look for the bullish play, okay? Bearish play is that if we come back into it and then we play around it, this is a range band effect, this is a range band play. The moment we step below the mid-range, right? I'm just saying the mid-range, this is the confirmation, right? We step below the mid-range, find resistance. This is your confirmation because we're back below this range over here. And we're going to play it level to level. Level 1, that's target 1. Target 2, looking for, and then look for weekly open. Target 3. I'd say hold it and wait for it. Obviously, you take your profits on target 1 and target 2 over here. Watch how the weekly open plays. Do we hold above it? If we hold above it and reclaim this 25% of the range, then I'd say cut the trade over here because we're going to go back to mid-range and we'll see how it goes. But if, for whatever reason, we come back down to the weekly open and we come back and find resistance, then I say target 4 is over here. Back, taking out this liquidity over here. That's the bearish play for Ethereum. Now the bullish play, there's not much to get out of it, right? We need to squeeze some shit out of it, right? Now how do we squeeze this motherfucker out? Alright, we're looking for a reclaim. Obviously, you can start saying to yourself, right, that we've reclaimed this mid-range. My invalidation will be here. I'm wrong on this level. Why? Because if price comes back down here and finds resistance and start breaking down, I'm wrong because we're going to take out this stop over here. I cut the trade way beforehand and I'll cut the trade over around here because we find resistance of the mid-range. But it's aggressive, playing aggressive there. Or you can say a hard stop up here, right? You can say a hard stop here, playing, let's see, does that give a 1 hour trade? Can we get long from here? Does that bring us 1 hour? Let's have a look. Doesn't it give us 1 hour? Yeah, just about, we can take out these highs over here. Potentially, it does take us about a 1 hour. Gives me more of a wider stop. And like I said, we break down and find resistance. I say I cut the trade, I play the short play over here, right? Taking out these liquidity and this liquidity here. So yeah, so that's that. But yeah, that's the aggressive play. But confirmation is if we get above, hold above it. If we take out this high here, basically what I'm saying is this is a bearish market structure. This is a bearish market structure. Ideally, we should be doing something like this. But if we take out this high here, that means as long as we hold this block over here, we can start targeting target 1 over here, actually target 1 up range high and target 2 up there, right? But then my stop loss would be this over here around the mid range, because if we start losing this block over here, I cut the trade before it even hits my mid range, and that's the trade that is for Ethereum BTC. We've got the breakout play, we've got the day trades, we've got plans over here, we've got the weekly play, and we'll see how it goes. So that's really is the plan. Pretty simple, nothing too complicated for both sides. You guys got any alts we want me to cover quickly? Any gay bears? Fuck off. Jay's in the house. What is your ranging tool in Training View? So Jay asked me what's my ranging tools. I've said this before, I'm gonna do it again, right? So it's literally a Fibonacci retracement. When you guys do it, it'll be very different to this. If you double click on it, go to styles, and these are the numbers we want to put in. 0, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75 and more. That's the Fibonacci there. Right, so how much do you take off when you hit your targets? Yeah, so for example, right, let's just say we get above here, right? We go above here, and I'm looking to go bullish, right? So I'll scale out probably about 50% of the trade here. 50% stop loss at break even, right? So in case you start breaking down, then I'll cut the whole trade, okay? And I'll take the whole trade off there, right? Because it's day trade, we don't wanna hold trades. We're not looking for swing plays. The swing play will be once we get above and start holding above it and go a lot more higher. Now, if I were to play, for example, the bearish play down here as resistance, and I'm like, yeah, that's my entry. My hard stop is over here. I'll take 20% off here, take another 20% off here, and I look at taking about another 10% there. That's 50% of the trade all gone, and I hold above it and see what happens, right? And then if I need to cut the trade, and by the way, when I take my first profit, I start looking at bringing my invalidation lower. Can I bring my invalidation here? From there, looking to go shorter and shorter and shorter, okay? So we got Solana. Let's have a look. Let's have a look what Solana's saying. Guys, just bear with me 1 second. Just bear with me 1 moment. Alright? 1 moment, guys. Sorry about that, guys. My mum just came round. She gave me a missed call, and just gave me to drop a few things. I was telling her, like, do you want to chill out and jump on the stream with me? She's like, no. She's like, she doesn't want to thingy, like, steal all my viewers. I'm like, all right, cool. She's gonna steal my viewers now, is it? Yeah. So yeah, let's have a look. Probably can hear a car going back. Yeah. So yeah, Solana. Morning's off. Good to have you here. And you got AVAX. So right, let's do Solana and AVAX and then see what's up. So yeah, Solana. Let's go back on the daily and see what's going on with the daily. So I was showing this, right? This was a consolidation of Solana over here. This here was all consolidation, and then we broke out broke out and we smashed it all the way to $240, I believe, yeah, $260. And now we come back to a potential what's a retest. Is it a deeper pullback? Is this a deeper pullback? The question is, do we hold above it and break up and go a lot more high, right? That's the question we need to start asking ourselves, right? Because if we're bullish, why are we bullish? ETH BTC. I'll go into that in just a moment there. So, we've got this here range, yeah, and all I've done is put a range high and a range low, and I've got my Fibonacci mid-range, and you can see quite clearly and nicely that all this, all this is quite a nice range over here. You can see it, right? Yeah, we got a deviation over here, we got a deviation over here, and we come back there. Mid-range just holds firmly nicely, come back down, shanked out, deviation, come back up, resistance, we get back up, hold support, we'll come back down, and then deviated, come back. Once we take out this high, that's because, look, again, bearish market structure. Go back to episode Dainks Corner episode 5. I've broken down high, low, high, and then we make a, well, we don't even make a new low in it. We start making lows, but we're making lower highs all the way through there. So you can say it's a bearish market structure in a way, in its own premise. The moment we take out this high over here, hold support, back to mid-range, play back to mid-range, see if we can play out this target over here. The moment we get back above it, we shank up and go a lot more high, okay? So that's the range band play. And all I've done is literally, let me just remove all this shit. I hate when there's about lines, motherfucker. Oh yeah, if you guys are wondering what is this thin line over here, basically all I've done is this is the yearly open, sorry, the yearly low, and that's the yearly high of 2021. As you can see, that mid-range over here at $130 has a beautiful story. What? Resistance over here, get above, support, deviates, support, shanks down, deviates, shanks down. So I like to have these lines in place to play a bit more higher if it comes into play. Confirmation, like I said, is if we get above and hold above it, target 1, target 2, get above that, we can start playing to target 3, target 4, take out these highs and all the way up to here to $230 from the mid-range, because we're playing in this half over here, right? But you can always break it down to a smaller half, which is the quadrants per quadrants. We're playing in this quadrant here, so we've got to focus on this quadrant. And even if I were to do a Fibonacci, I bet you were at the mid-range, or just hold above the mid-range. Look at that, perfect. You can see that, which basically means if I were to break down a range, I can see is that if we're playing from low to mid to high, right, and we're playing in these halves, we can start focusing on this quadrant over here, or we can focus on this half over here. Whichever you want to do, whichever floats your boat, okay? I just say nice. What's nice? So yeah, let me just fucking pop this, man. Smoking this and fucking normal tobacco shit. Man, NJ, I wish you were here to make me a cup of tea, fam. I'll tell you something though, NJ makes the best cup of tea ever. Rarely makes it, you know, I have to ask him, but he does make some sick tea. So yeah, now we start looking at these plays here. If I was bullish, as long as this holds, right, my invalidation is here, I can start targeting over here to this range, 75% of the range, which is about $49.79. Let's go to $50, and then going to $65, which is a range high, okay? Same time, we've got this low here, which could be a reaction, alright? So let's play this down as how we're going to actually look at narrowing this down, play to play. We've already established from this range here, right? This range here, we're above the mid-range, and from this range here of 2021, we're above the mid-range, which shows us it's bullish. It's bullish, right? Whether it's going to be bearish or whatever, whether we break down, who gives a flying fuck, right? What we got to do is literally good teabag, yeah, dude. You teabag really well, don't it? You look after that teabag really well. That's what you do. It's a nonsense. That's what it is, man. Anyway, let's focus, man. He distracts the shit out of me. We were doing fine without you, bro. Right, so yeah, we got these levels here now. Let's go down on 4 hours and we start seeing what's going on here. Now I marked all this over here, these levels over there, and there's a reason why. So you can see that is playing SRs, right? We're playing SR, the SR game here, right? Now, we are actually in this. For me to look for longs, you see this high over here, let me take out this high, that's the confirmation, but if we get above, hold above it. I'd say this is your confirmation, we can start playing it back to this range over here. 46.35 is mid-range, that'd be target 1. Get above it, target 2, trade done. If we get above here, my hard invalidation is over here. We're playing it back to range high of the range I showed you in the previous range, okay? If we break down, right, because now we're looking to break, it seems like we're breaking down, I won't short just yet. I mean, I can start saying, can I place a short? What is a short play can be? Let's have a look, because right now we're range bounding off a range. Now I start implementing other ideas together and start seeing what's going on. So if I do a range bound from this low here to this high there, is this high here? Does it tell me, or this one? Let's look. I kind of like this one over here, to be honest. Gives me more of a narrower play, because we're making, as you can see, these lows over here. Like you can see, resistance, well, these two are resistance over here. So I'll narrow it down to this high over here. So now we've got 15 minutes. And start seeing what's going on. Same time, I've got this high here, this block here. Let me highlight this up, rectangle, make this over here, and we're finding resistance off this high here. All right, this is the last high on the 15 minutes. That's in the market lower. Right, back down to range low as a deviation. Okay, you can see it's a deviation because once we got up, it holds support, take out this high, and we just come back and retest it, and we kept going high. All right, back to mid range. If I was bearish, the moment we break down in the mid range, my stop loss will be here at this high there, targeting 1, going down target 2, because this is a. Let me just remove all this. So that's my confirmation over here. Stop loss over there on top of the blue box, target 1, and I say target 2 off this consolidation here. That's it. And then see if we can get to target 3. All right, and that's the trade. That's a short day trade there with Ethereum. That's the bearish play. The bullish play will be this. We get back above it and hold it. Right, we're holding above the 75% of the range. Right, that's 75% of the range. I'd say target 1. It will be very short, and then looking for target 2 over here. Right. That's my confirmation. My stop loss, my validation will be here. Why? Because the moment we come down, break down below the mid range, then we're looking at take out these stop loss and we're going to a lot more lower, about 25% and mid range. Make sense? That's Solana for a day trade. I've got another one for AVAX. Asgard's in the building. Nice to see you here too, brother. Right, so this to me looks like we're going to break down further. Right, let me break this down further to you and show you what's going on. Alright, so if I go on the daily, and I go back onto what my lines are, okay? So we got a few things here. Number 1, we've got these ranges over here. Price was consolidating here previously, and now looks like is this a retest for us to go a lot more lower, right? Same time, this is another range here, and you can see the mid-range holds place, and we're now on this area here, okay? Actually, let me just break this down quickly so you guys can follow suit. You can see the mid-range came with deviation, shank below it, and we sell off a lot more lower, deviated, came back up, find resistance at the mid-range, holds above it, and we shank up, take out the high, step back into this range, because you can see we closed on the daily below this range low over here, and then step back into the range, mid-range, range high, and you know, the story goes. So we need to play this level to level. It is a short term, there's no confirmation for me to go forward any further. So again, what is the green line? The green line is basically the yearly low and yearly high. That's all it is, okay? And then if I'm just saying we're far away from it, if we reclaim this, right? This is another range here. So we've got 2 sets of range we're going to work out slowly. Reclaim the range high, stop loss. Then we can start targeting mid range. Your stop loss will be wherever. We'll work it out from there, right? But we have to say right now will be here at this low here. which basically is a more than 1 hour trade, right? It's all 1 hour trade left on the swing play over there. But we're not there, right? So what are we doing? What's happening, okay? So if actually, let me go on the 4 hours and I'll break down what's going on, okay? So on the 4 hours, remove this, cool. Remove this as well, and we'll break this down. On the 4 hours, we've got this going on here, okay? So remember that range, that blue range I was showing you? We've come up the range high and we're finding resistance. We're finding resistance. To me, this area here is a dead man zone, right? I wouldn't want to trade in this area, no way, right? If I want to go short and I want to play this, right, because we're at range that high, there was two things that happened. This high over here and this low here was a range bound effect, okay? What happened there? We've got deviation, 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 whole support at mid-range, and we broke out this high. At the moment we broke out this high, and back to range high, okay? Now, and it's just so funny how these lines coincide really well, in my opinion. So, what time is it now? Yeah, it's about 11 o'clock. And yeah, it just, one down there, yeah, I was saying, it's just funny how this coincides, that this high over here, right? Well, obviously it's not pinpoint, it's pretty much an SR. Look, we got resistance, smash above it, support, smash below it, and we come in as resistance, right? It's an SR level, right? That 2140 is an SR level, okay? Now, if we're going to go a lot more lower, this is how we're going to play it. Go on the 1 hour, start looking at what is the last up candle that's in the market down, okay? Now, we've got this here. Let me throw in a few more blocks and see what's going on. This is the last up candle that's in the market level, okay? We're in this zone over here, right? We can say, if we want to go short, if you want to go short right now, where are you wrong? You're wrong up here, right? This is stop loss over here. Because if we come back up, right, we're most likely going to be taking out this high, bounce above it and hold it, and then we can start playing it as a quick scalp up to this range over here. That's the bullish play for a scalp. But, like I said, the bearish play is actually doing its thing. So you see how it's come down, around retest. It looks like it's potentially going to break down. If it breaks down, finds a retest up there, breaks down, I could say, I can actually place my stop trade over here, stop loss over here, hard stop actually here. But the moment you see this, you see this low here that I initially made. The moment we come down, find resistance. That's your confirmation. Then your confirmation of your stop loss will be up there, playing down level, target 1, going back to target 2, going down to here, target 3 off this, and then looking to go off this range higher. Off this range right here. So if I extend this, play from there. And if you come back down here, and that'll be your last target. So you got target 1, target 2, target 3, and target 4. Make sense? That's the play that I'm looking for thingy, for AVAX, and we'll see what happens then. Because if it holds above it and start making bullish market structure, I cut the trade. To be honest, I'll cut the trade over here. To be honest, right? Because we're close to the mid range. You might go to the mid range, but I'm happy with that. We're just milking this bit here. Okay. If you start holding and does this, right, then I'll be like, all right, you know what? It's looking to go bullish back to this range, I'll cut the trade because I want to bag up all my profits and whatnot. Okay. At the same time, you can say this is a range, that's consolidation, this is a breakout, this is a retest. Do we get an expansion to go up higher? That's another question you got to ask yourself. So that's that. If for whatever reason, like I showed you the scalp trade, that if we actually reclaim this level and go up there, and then if it happens, I don't know if it's gonna happen today or tomorrow, whenever. I am leaning bullish, but I have to start looking at it this level to level. I'll show you why I'm leaning bullish. Go to the ETH BTC chart just a moment. If it reclaims this level, then I'm like, all right, cool. That's my. Oops. There we go. That's my confirmation, targeting all the way here. Well, we'll play it level to level. That'll be target 1. That'll be target 1, and that'll be target 2. Right? And sorry, that's the play there. Playing it back from 23.40 to about 31.37. Let's say 31.30. So that's the area we're playing. And then do we get above and go up higher? We'll work it out there. But level to level. Okay? Does that make sense there? Joel's in the thingy, in the chat. Good to have you here. Bet you it's hot in Thailand, man. Anyways, better than the UK, to be honest, right now. To be freaking raining and shit. Cool, everyone gets it. We're asking for MATIC. Go on then, let's do it. Let's do it. Man, I love you guys too much, man. So MATIC is an interesting one, right? I've got some levels already. That's good, perfect. Let's just work this out level to level, and I'm going to run this down to you, and we can see what is going on here, right? So we got all-time high here, right? Let's extend this, make this thicker, so you guys can see. Got a range high here, and I'm going to actually explain this to you in just a moment, right? I think I know why I've done this. I remember MATIC, I was looking for a massive expansion play because we were consolidating for like about 9 months or so. Give me a moment, let me get all these lines up so you guys can see what's going on, and then we can just break this down and whatnot. Anytime, man, it's all good, Terry. So we need to be aware of a few things, right? So what is this level? Was it on the weekly? I think it was on the weekly. Was it the monthly? I don't think it was the monthly. Definitely not. Can't be that. Yeah, it definitely can't be that. But yeah, it was off the weekly level. So it was, what I did, right, is literally this. It was this low, this high, and price, as you can see, was consolidated in this area for quite some time. We've done a deviation. You can see in the weekly, find resistance off here, sell off to mid-range, sell off once we lose this low, sell off to range low, and we come back to this area here. Now we come back to this area here. Question is this a deviation of the range again? You gotta look at it this way. Is this a deviation of the range, or is this a retest of potential of this low? Off this low here, because that's, as you can see on the weekly, is resistance. It is resistance. How? Because look over here. We've got support all the way through here. And once we get below it, or close below it, then all this becomes a resistance. It's an SR level, alright? Now the question you've got to ask yourself is this. Are we retesting to break down a lot more lower, to go take out this low here, take out this low over here, and come back to the original consolidation of this area, which is approximately about 5 cents. You call it 5 cents. So that's the question you've got to ask yourself. Are we bullish or bearish on this, right? Now we've got to work this level to level, okay? So we showed you, like I showed you the exact resistance. You have to say that, which basically means on a weekly you can't be long in this, okay? But at the same time, we've got this here, this low here. We'll reclaim this level because we close on the weekly above it. If we go on the daily, let's have a look at what's going on, and we can start working this out. This really, as you can see, is actually a range bound effect in its own way off SRs. This high here and this low there is an SR. Turns out this is the mid range, and you can see it's choppy around here. We're getting lower and lower, and what's going to happen? All we need to do to go long, for us to go long, confirmation, is a reclaim of this, taking out this high over here, and once we reclaim it, target 1, target 2. Alright? What happens next? Because the question is this a rounded retest for us to break down and go a lot more lower, or do we come back to this range and hold into it and go a lot more higher? Because you've got to ask yourself, the moment you step back into a range, what is the question you've got to ask yourself? What the fuck are you doing in this range? Okay? Going back in this range, you're basically just saying that we're going to go back up high, or lower, or whichever side you're playing in the range, okay? So that's that. Now, let's look at the 4 hours, see what we got here. Alright, so in the 4 hours, we've got nothing going on there. We've just got a range bound environment of this high here, of this low there. You can see that we've rejected off the mid-range, which shows me there's a potential play of going back down lower. Going back down lower, how? So let's just have a look at how we can narrow this down. Go on the 1 hour, right? Let's see what's going on, alright? We can start saying, let me just put this range back up there. Range high, range low. We'll go back lower, right? So this is a bit of a tricky one, I'm not allowed to. Let's go on 15 minutes and see if we can narrow things down. Here we go. That's it. So let's just do this. This is the last high. Send the market down now, right? Right here. And what's happened here is that we've now come into it on resistance, right? So watch how the original bounce happens. See the bounce coming happen. If it bounces off here, for example, it bounces off here, and it breaks down a lot more lower, you can say that is a trigger to play. stop loss over here, hard stop. You can put a hard stop there, but to be honest, once we get above the blue box, it's bullish. But confirmation is once we get below this, find resistance. That's your confirmation, right? Can't even draw freaking arrows properly. Yeah, confirmation down back to this range low. I'd say I'll take target 1 over here and then target 2 here. It is a range bound environment over here, and we'll see how it goes, because if it holds above it and start making bullish market structure, I cut the trade. But if we lose this level, right, and start going down, I can say, yeah, target 2 off this area here, and target 3 there. Sorry, target 3 and target 4 there. Make sense? That'll be the bearish play for MATIC. Bullish play for MATIC will be this, right? The opposite. We know this is an area of resistance, right? We want to get above it. We hold above it. We take out this high. It's bullish then. It's showing us bullish market structure because of high, lower low, lower high, lower low. But then what the fuck are we doing back here? Breaking this market structure there. Okay. If you don't know what market structure is, go back to Dainks Corner episode 5. There is a chapter highlighted as Licky saw my lab, what it said, bullish and bearish market structure. Right. So we hold above it. Right. This is my trigger. Right. And we're going to target 1, and well, target 1 over here off this high there. That's target 1, and then go to target 2. Then from there, right, this is the mid range. This is the mid range. If we reclaim this level, right, reclaim this level and hold above it, then let's go. Bob's your uncle. Go for the next set of targets, and then with this 3 and 4 done. Now what you've done a day trade. That's come into a bit of a swing play there, right? Makes sense. So that's for MATIC there for you, and I think that's a simple plan. And then from there, right, from this area, once we get back into the grand scale of this is the grand scale of the range, as you can see. This is the grand scale of the range. This low over here, which is about 74 cents, call it 75 cents. Hold above it, we start playing to these highs, these liquidity over there, and go from there. And then we'll see if we can go a lot more higher to $1.60. I know it's really far-fetched, but I'm just saying to you, we've got to look at it this way. Why am I leaning a bit more bullish on alts? It's because we step back into this range of ETH BTC. Quickly, then I'm going to call it a day because I've got to go. So you can see here, this is a range bound environment, alright? We stepped into the range, deviated, step back into the range, resistance, come back into the mid-range. From mid-range, we go back up to 75%, final resistance of the mid-range, a bit more neater, final resistance of the mid-range, sell off, back into the range low, and then what we've done is we've come back, this looks to me a deviation. It will be a confirmed deviation is once we hold above it, or if we take out this high, I think it's going to go back to 25% of the range. We'll see how this works of this block over here. Do we reclaim this block, then go from target, the next set of targets over here, and then this over here. Then from there we'll see what happens. So that's what I'm looking for in terms of Ethereum, ETH BTC, and because I'm leaning bullish on that, I think it's going to be an interesting play. So you got your confirmations on your day plans on MATIC, AVAX, Ethereum, BTC. We've got confirmation on Solana as well. Both plays up and down. The day trade is right there. We monitor what's going on. Let's look at what BTC is before I go. 1 hour, 15 minutes. Yeah, so it looks like we're breaking down. We're still in this block here. I want to see us get back above here so I can start longing it back to this area here. Target 1, target 2. I've made the plans already there, and that's what I would like to see. But we'll see how it goes. Plans are there. We'll see how it goes, and that's it for me. Really appreciate you guys that you're here. Smash the likes, man. We've got a lot of people here, and I really appreciate everyone actually showing, showing love to me and always interacting with me, and it means a lot. But yeah, I'll catch you guys soon, man. Take care, guys. Love.